Good morning, Marana and Oro Valley. Good morning. How are you? How you doing, David?
I'm great, and you?
I'm awesome. Got some special guests we're going to get to in just a second. Just want to catch up on your weekend. How'd you do? What were you guys doing?
Yeah, we did all kinds of cool stuff. You know, we all went to lunch together on Sunday.
Yeah.
For my mom's birthday. It was great. We went to Big Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the Chicago dog.
Yeah.
And you got what'd you get?
I got the Italian beef.
Okay.
Good to have them back over there. They're in the old Luke's building there on Tangerine. And they actually, Sean, who's one of the co-owners there, opened that with Chris Amaretto. Chris, I just skipped his last name right there. In 0102. So it's pretty close to the original Luke stuff.
Yeah, that Chicago dog was on point.
Well, I've been there 3 times since last Monday, so
yeah,
I may do that. I got time. I got time today too, so I may run back over there. Gina was like, "What are you doing back?" I'm like, "I love this place."
I forced myself to bring lunch today. I got to cut it out.
Did you?
I got to cut it out, man.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Eating out?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch my petiteness.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's it. I thought you were going to say money. I'll buy.
Yeah. You know, another good spot's Del Rancho right down the street. Yeah. Too. Been there a little bit. So.
Maybe that's for lunch today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see you guys yesterday.
Likewise.
His daughter and I were watching the Cubs at the ball game. Did you show her the picture of the dog?
Not yet,
the video?
But you know what? She's a huge sports fan, and we actually just enrolled her for flag football through the FCA.
I love it.
So,
okay, we're going to jump in. We got some incredible guests here with us today, and I'm so excited. Mary Murphy set this thing up by Vella and Milini Sims. Did I get that right?
Yep.
I've been practicing it all week. I've been practicing yours with the U. I'm like, I got to get this right. I am so glad you guys are here. We're going to have a fun hour because we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, and that's Oro Valley. We're going to talk about Oro Valley. So I know Chris referenced it. You've been in your position for 28 years. Are we close?
You're right on.
Okay.
Right on the spot.
Okay. And you?
I've been with Oro Valley for about 8 years.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for being there. You know, we read all the time about how great Oro Valley is. Our little secret is leaking out. Great place to live, great place to raise a family, great place to retire. All those are true. And I've been in Oro Valley. I moved there in December of 2002 from Phoenix. Didn't know I was moving to get closer to my mother and sister who live here. My mother passed away. My sister lives right around the corner on Woosnam. I live on Player. So now everybody knows how to get to my house because Player's only about that long. There's 2 little stretches to it. And I may never move because that's one of the coolest names for an address of all time. You know, I want to talk about, I think this is a really good jumping in point. I want to talk about the general plan and all the stuff that's gone into that and the survey stuff because that gives you guys a great runway to discuss what we're doing because we have a great community. We live in a great community. And I think I see nothing but good stuff in the future. And that's why it's so easy for me to talk to the people that I know here. I've been in this plaza for 20 years. So of the 22, almost 23 years I've been here, I've been doing life during the day in Marana. So I knew Ed. He was one of my best friends of all time. John Post, Terry Rosema. I could just go right down the list of the people that lead this community, and the same over in Oro Valley. But so to put these together for me is just like a natural. It's just because each one is unique. So let's talk about the uniqueness of Oro Valley and what the general plan. What people are saying and what you guys how you guys are responding to that.
I'm happy to jump in and Milini, please.
We're sitting over the fireplace, having a conversation, talking about a place we love dearly.
I love it. Oro Valley is a special place, and this is a really special time, Clint, because the term general plan sounds pretty mundane, kind of general plan. What we're calling the OV Path Forward really is a special thing. It's every 10 years, the town calls a timeout to, wait a minute, we need to check in with all residents and listen and learn. Things change over 10 years. And Oro Valley has certainly grown up, and you've been around Oro Valley long enough to watch a lot of change. And I like to think of Oro Valley as essentially it's gone from its infancy to maybe the adolescent years right after the 2008 and the market going up and down. And now Oro Valley really is a mature adult as a community. So not too far from build out.
Because we're 50 next year, is that right?
We are 50. We are 50. Yeah. And the community, what we're hearing from the community reflects that maturity. So I mentioned it's a special time because this check-in is a chance to reach out to all of Oro Valley. There are lots of great folks that have time to come down to the town council chambers for cases and share their opinions. There are also a heck of a lot of folks that, they got to make dinner for the kids. They got to get to work in the morning. They don't have time to do that. And so their voices sometimes start to recede to the background. And so what's so great about the general plan process every 10 years is we do cartwheels to get out, make it super easy to let your voice be heard. And, through, media shows like what we're doing right now, from Milini and her gang standing out in front of Chipotle or a Starbucks or on the Loop with a booth and asking people to stop, share a little, what they think is so great about Oro Valley. What do they want to keep? What do they want to make sure? How do we improve it? There's always a way to improve. And oh my gosh, we have so much to build on in Oro Valley. So, over the course of the last year and a half of effort, we've gotten some 9,000 odd comments, through online surveys. Again,
that's pretty. Isn't that staggering number?
It is a wow. Yeah. So
because we have how many people do we have in Oro Valley right now that live there?
We have about 49,000.
Yeah. So 9,000, and I always use 4 as the multiplier for or maybe it's 3. So you had because family of 3, family of 4. So you had at least 30 to 40% families represented in your responses, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
I
can't do math on the fly in the morning, but
well, that's my thing. So I'm
I'll let you handle
spitballing.
the statistics.
But that would be, to me, that would be if you had, say, a third. Let's say we had a third. I think it's more than that. But let's say you had a third responding to a survey. To me, that's like staggering.
It is staggering, and especially when you put it in a little bit of context, when you look at other jurisdictions throughout the state, they're required to do the same type of planning effort. Oro Valley is head and shoulders above other communities in the state relative to people wanting to jump in and be heard. And so 9,000 for our population size is a major wow. You look at Scottsdale, you look at Flagstaff, City of Tucson in terms of the level of involvement. People really care about Oro Valley, and they show up. They show up when there's an opportunity, and it's easy to do, and it's accessible, and we're hearing from folks we've never heard from. They're coming in and speaking up, and we really want to promote that as much as we can because we still have work to do.
Yeah. Oh, always. I'm going to reference something that I was pretty involved in was the recent police negotiations that were taking place. And very respectfully, the rooms were getting filled at every town council meeting that was responding with that. I was working with Christopher Knapp with the union and trying to get the word out to what was going on, and it got taken care of, and that's great. But the response on that was the Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene. We had the response on that with people to echo what you're saying. People showed up, spoke their. Sometimes we didn't always agree, and that's okay. That's what families do. We don't always agree on everything. But I can speak to that. The things that I saw and witnessed was the community showed up. And I think it's reflective when you drive the streets of Oro Valley. You see that, don't you?
Absolutely, and I've been, as you mentioned, working in Oro Valley for some 28 years, and just continually impressed. You really get the governance you ask for. So the communities that have people that show up and demand a high bar tend to get a high bar. When there isn't participation, there isn't a voice, then things kind of go their way. So I think in governance, you get what you ask for.
Hey, we were just saying that, Chris and I don't know when you guys got in the room, but we were talking about that.
Right.
And it was, I'm not going to get into it, but David knows what I'm talking about. I've always said, don't blame the officials so much. Blame yourself. Blame the community. If there's any blame, things are wrong. You're the ones electing these people who hire the people to run your community. I mean, it's too easy to point fingers at someone and go, well, you're not doing the job. Well, if I've got, like south of River, I got all these issues that are continuing to expand for generations. There's a cultural problem, not a leadership problem, because you're electing them. And the beautiful thing with Oro Valley Marana, because again, I've been here for over 2 decades, we elect pretty solid people across the board. Whether I agree with them on everything is irrelevant. Because my wife's sitting out here, you met her a while ago, we disagree a lot. And we've been happily married for 34 years. So disagreements are actually, I think, healthy in the growth of a community. As long as you keep it respectful. The minute you start demanding, that I get my way, that to me is where we have a problem. But
no, I hear you, and I think it's incumbent in an area that government can always improve, especially local government, is making it easy for people to participate, making it really accessible. And that's what, I'm so proud of the work that Milini and her team has done. They've delivered on that. We've done our best, and we're open to any ideas of how we can pull more people in, and trying to go to where they are versus asking folks to come to us. Yeah. So, and that's why you see that high number of 9,000. We've really tried to make it easy and really make sure people feel welcome. We want to hear from you. And ultimately, Clint, what's so powerful about this is that the voters, the residents of Oro Valley, they're in charge of what to approve, modify, or deny this at the ballot box. It's their plan. It's not staff's. It's not any elected officials. It's the communities. So, so that 9,000 number is so important, and we hope that it translates at the ballot box. Some 10 years ago, I was involved with the effort, and I think we had something around a 75% approval rate, which is amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And
when do you get 75% agreeing on anything, honestly, in the culture that we live in? You're shaking your head. What's a typical day in your world? Because he's referenced all this great stuff you're doing. I want to know. I want to get a little meat and bones here. What are we talking about?
So we definitely, in the last year, we would be, spend part of our day out at a booth in front of a restaurant or at a park. And then we get back to the office, we'd sort through comments, start looking for themes.
How many people on your team, just to kind of get a reference of how many people are working on this with you?
There's about 2 of us full-time on it.
Wow.
But then we have a lot of support staff.
Okay.
So it's not just, planning, we take the charge in this, but all departments are involved. And over this last year, for instance, actually this spring, we did 25 meetings between February and May with we call them resident working groups. So a lot of that time was we would be preparing for one meeting and finishing up another one. And it was just back to back for about 3 months to get through. And right now, we're taking all the information we heard and kind of now getting it on paper. And we're really excited. The first draft of the plan will be released this fall. And that's one reason we were excited to come here is we want to get people to know that, hey, there's still time to get involved. Yeah. We're not done yet. So make sure that they know that they have an opportunity to read the draft, make sure it gets it right, comment on it. It'll be the first time that the community gets to see the results of their hard work. Right.
Hey, I'll just say it right now. You guys are welcome anytime.
Great.
So that, and the cool thing is for David, Chris, myself, is this is a passion of love for us. We don't get paid to do this. We finance every bit of it ourselves because we want our community, Marana and Oro Valley, to be the best version of itself with no selfish. And our side of it, I've said it straight to some of your colleagues. I've said it to some of your colleagues over in Marana. We're doing this. We want to help you. We're not looking for permission to be involved because we live in the community. This is our way of giving back to the community because we know this for a fact. It's an old Warren Buffett. A rising tide lifts all crafts. And the more we can lift all craft and every person, and again, I mentioned Ed Honey a while ago, he was Mr. Marana. He knew everybody. He cared about everybody. He wanted Marana to be the best version of itself for every man, woman, and child that lived in the community. And including outside, he was loved outside the community, and that's the motivation behind Move. Our whole purpose. I was talking to Mary Murphy the other day, and I'm like, you understand that our whole thing is this is a love project on our end. This is something that Chris and I came up with independent of each other without knowing it. And one day we were talking, and I said something about Move, Marana Oro Valley Experience. I've got that in my notebook too. So it was real easy. One of the things I really love about Oro Valley, and this is unique, I've never seen this anywhere. You have your information zones or freedom of information zones. I think there's 12, 13 of them located throughout Oro Valley. And the information is up about the general plan and different things that fit that. That is so unique. I don't remember ever seeing a place where you just had places that you could. Whose brilliant idea was that? Was that your idea?
Not the sign zones. I don't know when those came about. But
that's a brilliant idea. But the usage of it, but you got to use them if you're going to designate them, right? So you're responsible for that? That was yours?
Honestly, I got a little confused. So, but I'm back.
Okay.
So the sign zones actually came up a long time ago.
They've been a while.
It's been a long time, and it was really the idea was, hey, we want to make sure folks have the ability to speak the truth, get the word out. But how can you do that in an organized manner, maintain the aesthetics of Oro Valley? And so the idea was to create just different locations and bubbles around the community.
Is it 12, 13, 14 of
You're
them
right.
roughly?
You're absolutely right. And
it has been a while. But now I see a lot of the general plans in those locations. But back to real quickly. So that's been around a while, and it was. Can you, for folks that are listening that don't live in Oro Valley, what we have is alongside majorly traveled roads, is we have information zones, or I don't know what they're referred to, but you can, and I don't know how it works. Maybe you can explain that, but there's designated areas you can post your sign, for the lack of a better word, with information that you want to share with the community.
Correct. And most communities, like Oro Valley, are fairly restrictive about putting signage in the right-of-way for safety reasons and whatnot. But, Oro Valley looked at its right-of-ways, its public lands, and said, wait a minute, there's a smart way to do this and provide an opportunity for folks. And so they're literally... you look at the map that's online, there are circles in right-of-way areas and parks and whatnot where it's really open for the community to express themselves. So that is very much a thing.
Is that like permitted then?
It is permitted. So you don't have to get a permit. You can go to a sign zone and put your sign up. And it's the content is up to you. Mm-hmm. So, and where the OV Path Forward has really thrived is not only using those zones, but also, asking permission of a business. Mm-hmm. And can we put a sign up? Mm-hmm. Trying to find where people are going anyway, and setting up that sign. And then you can only fit so much on a sign, right?
Right.
But really wanting to get those QR codes and whatnot out there and drive them to the website. And, what Milini's team has been so fantastic about is creating an interactive website. It isn't just go there and read and have a nice day. It's please read, but hey, tell me what you think.
Yeah, answer a handful of questions for us.
Tell me what you
here.
think. And that translates rubber meets the road into the words in the plan. And just for your listeners, we talk about a plan. What's in the plan? Is it just development? Is it just parks? Just major important thing. It's everything. It's all the soup and nuts that make a town. So you mentioned police and going to that hearing. The last 3 general plans, the top two values over the course of the last 20, 30 years is unchanged. Safety is number 1.
100%.
Environment, protecting those views, protecting the native vegetation, really big. Those are always the top 2. And so the plan also talks about, our water future. It gets into, how do you want the parks to continue maturing? Because as Oro Valley, I mentioned it's more of a mature adult. Folks are looking for more services. They want more restaurants. They want more, ability to not have to drive into the city of Tucson, to get this, that, or the other. They want to see Oro Valley Marketplace thrive. And so, what are the steps that does the town? And the plan is gonna get there. We're working on it. Really giving a true north of how to achieve results. The plan is nothing without action steps, and it is full. How many action steps are in them?
So right now we have 255.
So this is a to-do list.
Yeah.
It's a to-do list, and it's direction from the community to staff and this council and future councils.
What
to do.
Well, you mentioned 2. Environment and safety, not in that order. What would be the top, say, 5? And the reason I ask that, I'm going to get a little biblical for 1 second. God gave Moses 10 commandments, and then we as humans, we created 600 more that we're going to. It's hard enough to keep up with the 10. But if we were to narrow this down, the top 5, the top 10, let's say. Not that the other 240 are not important, because, again, I'm sure they are. But the top, say, 5 or the top 10, not counting safety or environment, what would they be? The responses that you're getting right now.
Yeah, so I think Oro Valley residents, they definitely value the quality of life they have. And so a lot of the actions are making sure those aspects are being maintained. And so it's making sure there's the opportunities to have a strong sense of community. What we heard even in the first phase is people do want places to go. They want places to entertain family and friends, just to gather. So that was a common theme throughout this whole thing, more restaurants and retail. When it comes to the parks, that was lots of value and appreciation, especially for what was recently done at Naranja Park, but kind of trying to build on that and make sure that we have facilities for year-round use. Having more shade at our facility.
And I'm going to interrupt real quick because I think this is important. And I was working on a project years ago. It was with the Chicago White Sox. I was working with them and the county when they were moving and all that stuff. So at that time, countywide, we were woefully, not counting open spaces, because there's plenty of those. We live in the desert. But parks, actual physical parks that had amenities there, we were woefully underparked. I mean, that's probably that's not the way to state that, but we didn't have nearly enough parks for the residents. Now, this is countywide. Where are we at in Oro Valley? As far as there's probably a number somewhere out there maybe that's more of a parks department. And I know we got great parks, don't misunderstand me. But do we need, me personally, I think we need more. How about that? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I think, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but on a per capita basis, we're low in the park area.
I think it's countywide. I don't think it's exclusive to Oro Valley.
True. And I think, we've certainly seen it in Marana Park as far as the explosion of use. As the town has found ways to provide more and more amenities, especially for youth and families.
Right.
And so before that occurred, Clint, we heard a lot from families that, if they wanted a good park experience, Oro Valley families, they would drive to Marana.
Yeah.
So that tide is changing.
Yeah.
With the improvements in Marana. And the town's always taken, an incremental approach financially, trying to live within our means in terms of improvements. So it's been slow going, but wow, what's going on now is impressive.
Yeah.
And the town has some decision points. There's town owns a considerable amount of land, just at First and Push Ridge Lane and Oracle on the mountainside. There's a rather large piece of property that is going to be, I think over time, that's going to be a look-see in terms of more opportunities to recreate and gathering places and potential business opportunities.
You notice I didn't come with any questions, but that was one I had right there. And so, I want to circle back around to what you just said, because I'm going to share something with you that I think I've shared it with other members of staff. Paul, recently, we were having this conversation. But right now, I know Marana, there's still a lot of open space. Cotton fields everywhere, so I forget the exact number, but there's still plenty. Where are we at as far as Oro Valley, as far as percentage-wise, what do we have left to build out? Or that's probably not exactly how I want to say it, but I can tell you know what I'm asking you.
No, absolutely. And Milini has been the number cruncher on this very topic.
What is that? Where are we at? I know it's way less than, just because of the location that we live in, and the mountain, we're more mountainous and all that stuff. Where are we at as far as still open space, I guess maybe is the way I want to ask it.
So of our developed land, of what we are of our land coverage, 30% of it is what we consider open space. Okay. So that's both landscape and natural desert open space. In terms of what we have left to build out, though, we're 94% built out. I will say 6% of that is they have approved plans. So we're getting towards being. So
we've got 6% left. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, without any approved plans.
Okay, without any approved plans.
Vacant. Yeah, waiting. For
I figured the number was in that. I didn't know it was single digits, but I knew it was just a different lay of the land. That's part of as we grow this move out and we start really sharing kind of our over the 30,000 view. That's why it's so important to link the two communities together, because Marana offers something different than Oro Valley. Oro Valley offers something different than Marana, and together, the more we incorporate each other because like I say, I don't know when I'm crossing. I do know, but I don't I don't think, I just left Marana, now I'm going into Oro Valley. I'm just going into my home, which is spread from Picacho Peak to the Santa Catalina Mountains and all the way up to Catalina and south the river. We always use rivers like, I'm not going south of the river unless I have to.
Well, I think you're right on, Clint. The synergy between the two is super important, and the fact that Oro Valley is so close to build out, I think, casts a bright light on what we're hearing from the community.
See, I agree, 100%.
And the bright light is, hey, there's not a whole lot of land left, so we want to see growth, but we want to see it very targeted. Yeah. There's some holes we want to fill in terms of services we don't have, to make it more of a complete community. Right. So maybe, that we didn't hear, let's grow for growth's sake.
Yeah, right.
We heard it's very refined, targeted growth to bring in those gathering places. We want to see more restaurants. We want more things to do for families and whatnot.
Well,
So-
I feel the same way with Marana, and I said it to Ed, I say it to John, and all of. Don't build just to build. That just doesn't make any sense. They're going to come anyway. Let's have targeted. Well, I said numerous times, and I include Oro Valley in this. It didn't happen by accident. We don't have one of the most desirable locations to live, raise a family, retire, play, recreate, right, in Oro Valley or Marana by accident. That didn't happen by accident. It happened with long-term planning back. God bless the Oromais and the people that were there. You know, Ed Honey's parents started the first water company in Marana.
Ah, wow.
And that's actually how Marana became a town. There was this thing called water out in the desert, and they wanted more control of that. That's how Marana became more a city, a town. You know, you mentioned something earlier, and I want to just throw this in the hopper a little bit.
Sure, please.
This is something I've been involved in for 30 years, and it is an incredible asset to a community. I don't know if we can do it here. This might be more of a Marana thing, but we're talking about it, and that is youth sports. You mentioned youth sports, and how big. I've been involved in this now for 30 years. How big. That's why I was involved with the White Sox, because we were going to do something with kids. How big a thing that is for a community. Not only for the community itself, but the economic impact of that is staggering. And I'm talking baseball, softball, soccer, things like that in a community. Basketball. That's why I love the new rec center that they built. They call it the Mark in Marana. Have you been there?
I haven't.
I'll get. If you guys are interested, I'll get you a tour over there. Roxanne Ziegler, Vice Mayor, got to set us up with a tour. I got to tell you, in the beginning, full clarity, I thought we were spending a little too much money, and then it tripled in size with the number. But after I've seen it, I'm like, yeah, well, it's here, so it doesn't matter whether But it is incredible, and they've got indoor facilities, they've got outdoor facilities, and the numbers. And it just opened like May 3rd, I believe. You know why I know what day it opened? That's the day our first grandchild was born. So I can keep that. In mind. But it is fantastic. I'd love for you guys to go do a tour. Not that we've already got one in Marana, so I don't know that Oro Valley would need something like that. But the basketball courts, I can see a lot. Basketball is another one of those big youth sports things that would draw a lot of people. And a buddy of mine who's directly involved in this and has been for years, I'm going to throw an economic number at you, sells 35,000 hotel rooms a year in Maricopa County for youth sports. And the sad part is he started here, and we lost him to Maricopa because they had more facilities, they had more hotel rooms. We couldn't sell that many. I don't know how many we've got in Oro Valley, but Marana's got 1,200 and some. So we'd have to build more hotels.
Yeah.
But
it's funny you bring that up, because in our resident working groups, they brought up we have actions and goals and policies for tourism, very specific, and they brought up sports tourism and how when people come to those big swim meets, we stood in front of a swim meet, and I will say most of the people we talked to were from Phoenix and asking us what restaurants to go to. This is the hotel they're staying at, and so the resident working groups acknowledge that, and so there's an action right now. It's still in draft form in the 10-year plan about building upon that sports tourism and making sure
it's huge,
and how we can help even local businesses build upon that when there's a big meet in town. And
I mentioned one, and that's just baseball. That's youth. Now he's been doing it for 30 years, right at 30 years. He was the godfather kind of in that whole industry. This was before there was an industry. He helped build that industry. But it's true in swim, soccer. His advice would be, and he's coming back actually to do his first tournament at Sports Park in Pima County. The first one he's done since like 04 or 05. He's coming back into the marketplace because there's new operators here, and so all the timing was right. But that for me would be, as far as Oro Valley, and you don't need a lot of ground to make this thing happen. That's the cool thing. Even if you had baseball, softball, or soccer, and here's advice would be multi-purpose, so you can keep them. Hey, let's face it, June, July, and August, it's pretty hot in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe you're not and the thing is, you mentioned Phoenix coming down for a swim meet. That's still people staying in hotel rooms. They don't, in his case, they come from all over the West Coast. They come from Alaska. They come from, even Minnesota has been bringing teams out. So they're coming from everywhere. But we'd love to get some of that Maricopa dollar back down here, wouldn't we? To me, as long as they're staying in hotel rooms and eating in our restaurants, they don't have to come from Colorado, although we would certainly welcome that if they wanted to fly in. So that would be, I would put that as far as bringing people to the community for economic impact. Youth sports would be way high on my list. And if it's swim, well, you know what? You don't need a lot of space for swim. You don't need to build 6 or 8 baseball fields or soccer fields or softball fields. You could do it all in a pretty compact area. We got you're talking about it, James Craig, or is that
the
right?
Oro Valley Aquatic Center.
Yeah, and that's pretty nice. I've watched that grow out since we got here. Because was it here it was here when we got here, but it's expanded or been updated, or it just doesn't look the same as when we were over there playing Little League years ago.
No, you're right on. I think it was maybe about 8-9 years ago. There was a major renovation.
Yeah.
Completely redid the pool, made sure that it was met all of the standards for high level competition.
Right.
And it's and people are showing up.
Yeah.
And you're spot on as far as the multiplier effect. As far as the bed tax they pay at the hotel helps pay for more facilities. It all mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I think you were also mentioning the importance of synergy when you're planning those
there you
types
go.
of events.
There you go.
Right.
To me, those are for me. They're more attractive than just about. And I have a personal interest and invested in it, but those are the people we. At the end of the day, the premier tourists would be a family with 3 kids. Because they're going to be out, they're going to do a lot of other things besides the swim meet. I can say this because I'm one of the old cats. My group, we just don't get out as much. We don't spend as much money. We just, as a whole, we're a little more conservative. But that young family with 3-4 kids, and they're going to the swim meet or the baseball tournament or something, they're going everywhere. They're going to the parks. They're going to the restaurants. Extracurricular activities. I've always said with John Post at the Pumpkin Patch, if you're here in October, which is a prime time to tour to vacation in Arizona with your kids, now you've got that. More amenities like that would be huge. I'd like to see more, and I'm talking to other people with this move. We'd like to see more of a community center type. And I don't mean community center, but like a place where we could have large events, sort of, and it doesn't matter which side of if it's in the middle, like Twin Peaks, that'd be great. But if it's either side, both communities could benefit from it, where you could get 5, 6, 10,000 people at one time in one spot. We don't have enough of those.
Right.
And we do need more, and Marana might have more to offer when big spaces like that, especially along that Twin Peaks corridor. You know how expensive that land is. It's unreal, the expense of property in this, that you could have bought it for $10,000 an acre 10 years ago, and out in Marana now it's $200,000 an acre.
Wow.
God bless those farmers that held on to that property for 100 years.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So hey, we got a few minutes left. What do you? I don't want to leave anything hanging. And by the way, you guys are welcome back anytime.
I appreciate it. We'll be back. If you'll have us, we'll be back.
Oh well, so. we love it. You know what? This furthers our cause. Because a lot of times we feel like we're in an echo chamber sometimes, especially as we start this new venture. It's like we're talking to ourselves, and we need more. We need to start feeding the funnel a little more with ideas and different. And we want to, honestly, the other thing we want to do is bring you guys together with counterparts from Marana so you guys can set. Matter of fact, we have that, not to kind of drift, we have Mary Murphy, Councilwoman, and Kara Riley on, I think 2 weeks from today, which is great. I love having
fantastic.
that. Then I need to get Jeff on, Bridget from Marana, the chief of police over there. But this is, and if you got other members of your organization that you feel need to be spotlighted or have information that they want, go back and say, hey, this is an open forum for Marana and Oro Valley. That's
Clint,
what it is.
You can count on us to do that.
This is the public square. We love it. And so, is there anything else? So we got a few minutes left. I'm going to turn the show over to you guys. What do you got? You got something? You're ready. Go.
I would just like all the listeners to know that there's definitely still time to get involved in the 10-year plan. As we talked about, it really does touch on every quality of life aspect. And getting involved, we're trying to make it as convenient and easy as possible.
Okay, how do we get a hold of you? Tell it right now.
So they could go to ovpathforward.com. The plan's going to be web-based, so they could actually see it starting to come together. They could see everything that's in the plan, where it's headed.
And you mentioned it's interactive, so there's things that they can contribute right now.
Yep.
We got room for a few more ideas on the 250, right? We could add to that.
Yeah, that's just in counting. We'll be adding to it, I'm sure, and refining. But this is really residents' chance to, you talked about, the town leadership and decision makers. This is a great opportunity. If you're not able to go to council meetings all the time, I get it, but you can really guide the town's future through the 10-year plan. And this is one of the only, I think, planning documents that goes to a vote.
Okay,
So,
repeat, ovpathforward.com. Yeah, okay, that's going to be, David, make a note. We need to just pound that hard, make sure that's on everything that's move related. The other thing, just a quick point of reference, even if you can't make the town hall meetings, they're all podcast live or zoomed live or broadcast live, and then there's a library, so there's no excuse not to check those things out. Matter of fact, I'm glad you guys are on different times, because I watch, if I'm not able to go to Marana, I watch them. I'm not saying I watch every minute of every. That'd be a misnomer. Same with you guys, but same with Oro Valley. But I watch and participate a lot, because I don't want to be a hypocrite when I'm saying to others, hey, you need to better educate yourself on what's going on in your community, when I'm not practicing that myself. So I'm a nerd that way. I can't help it. But I encourage more people to do that. And that's why we have this platform, is we want to be the town crier for both communities. And so when people, as Chris said it so eloquently this morning, we don't want to be just referred to as Northwest Tucson. In fact, that upsets me to a lot. I'll give you one example. When we were doing the match point tournament, the golf thing up in Dove Mountain, they would refer to it continuously as Tucson. And I'm like, but it's not. It's in Marana. We need to. I get it for marketing purposes. People know where Tucson is, but they should know where Marana is, and they should know where Oro Valley is. And if we don't kind of like demand that attention, then we're never going to get it. And I want to demand that we're one of the best places to live, work, play, travel to, experience. Oro Valley, Marana. I'm not here by. I grew up in the Midwest. I moved to Phoenix because I loved it. Then I realized, we could do. And my kids were little, and the main reason we moved was, I could say my mother was here at that time, but was they had the best schools in the state. Best public schools in the state were Amphi and Marana. We need a little work on that, by the way. We're still probably the best, but we're not. I don't want to. That's a topic for another day. Lord knows, Chris and I have belabored that. But that's part of a successful community. Is good schools, Now, we do have good schools, but we could get better. I know that's not the town directly involved, but yet as a community, we can't ignore that.
And you're right. It's it's MPI. But the general plan, the OV Path Forward, residents are really asking Oro Valley, the community, to do everything we can to ensure they're successful.
Is that something a lot of people, because that would be one of the things.
Folks are showing up to say, hey, we've got it good, let's get better. And here are ways we can get better. So there are action items that really go to that. And, I love, what you've shared about, the move providing an opportunity to make a difference. And I think that's a barrier in terms of, it's easy to get cynical about government, local government, as are they really listening? So I can't think of a better listening opportunity than what's being put forward in OV Path Forward. We are kicking, screaming, begging for folks to jump in, tell us what you think, and the website and the plan itself, we need folks to check into that to make sure those words, those directive actions, line up with what you think, where it should go. If the community feels like we're going in a wrong direction in the plan, we need to know, because this is your document. This is your chance. So please show up, ovpathforward.com.
You said at the outset that, you mentioned just a moment ago about the cynical. That's human nature. I think it's just kind of like, well, they're going to they'll fix it. They'll take care of it. Let them take care of it. That's why we elected them and all that stuff. To me, that's just lazy. I need as a resident to be involved in what we're doing. Show up at the the council meetings, get involved with ovpathforward.com. Maybe it might happen, it might not. It's the will of the general population as opposed to one specific need that I might have. But if you're sitting on the sideline, I'm challenging you right now. Get involved, because you can see I can sit here because we don't know each other well. You and I've met a couple times in the past. You and I are meeting for the first time. These people they're serious about making Oro Valley the best version. I can tell that. I can see it in your face. So I don't want to hear.
Appreciate that.
And I'm that guy that holds people. I hold myself accountable. I'm going to hold others accountable. But on the same token, I want to work as a teammate. And I always say to people, and I'm not going to get political, but I'd say even if it's political, there's one or two things you and I are going to agree on, even if we don't agree on stuff. Let's concentrate on those one or two or four. It's more than that, by the way. I don't care how opposed you may be in the big picture. There's still 5, 6. We all want the same thing. We might disagree how we get there, but let's find that one or two things and build a bridge. And then let's start. Guess what? We'll find another way to amplify that once we get that project done.
And I think that's a great description, because that really is what OV Path Forward is about. It's creating that collective, the commonality of what's great, what do we need to work on, and it really is. The aim is to create a consensus. This is the true north.
Yeah.
These are the things we want to be. These are things we want to keep. And how to move forward, so that over the election cycles over the next 10 years, whether they're massive pendulum swings on certain things politically, the constant is the voice that's expressed in this plan.
Right.
So no matter who's elected in the future, when a hot topic comes up, whether it's a land use decision or it's a new public safety program for police or road improvements, that document is going to be carted out as part of the decision-making process. Mm-hmm. And so electeds and staff will be opening this document and saying, hey, this is what the voters approved as the common true north. Here's your guidance.
When is that coming? When is the election the ballot for this?
It'll be November 2026.
Okay. So this is coming up pretty soon.
It's coming up soon. It's gonna be a ballot item. When you go to the booth, you open it up. You're gonna see OV Path Forward represented, and you're gonna be asked, "Do you agree with the direction?"
So when will you be done? When will you be done with the draft that is going to actually be on the ballot? And so, in other words, how much time do we have right now in Oro Valley to contribute to what ends up on the ballot?
So the one that will be on the ballot, it goes to council. It'll be late next spring, early summer.
Okay, so maybe a little less than a year.
Yep.
So I'm going to go back to something that I kind of said at the outset, and I believe this 100%. We didn't get here by accident. Oro Valley didn't get here by accident. Marana didn't get here by accident. So as citizens in this particular case of Oro Valley, if you want to say in maintaining that we didn't get here by accident, you need to be participating right now, because at some point next spring, you're going to say, okay, we have to move this forward because the council needs to vote on this to make sure we get on the ballot in time. Fair enough?
Right. And council will be voting to signal it's ready for ballot. So, again, this is the only planning process in a community. Marana does the same thing. They do a similar type of plan. This is the only planning effort where it's the voters that actually approve or don't approve.
Yeah.
So it really is direct democracy.
So how important is that? Think about what you just said. Because the leaders can do what the leaders do, but if the blueprint says this, then that's the will of the people at that point.
It is a massive expression of the will of the people. So it's
don't say you don't have a say. Don't say you don't have a voice beyond the ballot box, because you actually do. You can get involved in it. This went quick, so you guys are up to coming back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll be
I love
back.
it. Next phone call I'm going to make is to Mary and say, Mary, you brought your A team out. Mary, if you're watching, you brought your A team out. One more time, the website.
ovpathforward.com.
Yeah. David, you got anything?
I do not. Thank you. It was
Yeah,
great.
that was-
and
we got
the
what's
link.
left.
I got the link in the chats.
Yeah,
I did
beautiful.
pull it up during the show so people could see the site.
Hey,
thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So, and I'm guessing, strongly nudging, we're going to see a lot of reels out of this. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, by the end of the day for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll be all over the place. So make sure you guys share them internally, externally. We'll get linked up on this. Hey, you know what? I've been so excited because this started a couple of weeks ago when we had a couple of local folks that couldn't make it because of vacations and stuff. Those younger couples and families and I get it completely, no big deal. And I reached out to Mary, and she was doing something. I reached out to Mo. I'm talking about Mo Green County.
Sure,
He was doing something. And then she came right back and had you guys lined up, and then brought you in. I'm like, this is so cool. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. You really brought your A game with you today. I appreciate it.
The pleasure is all ours to be here.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate the opportunity
You know
to
what?
get the word out. So
I'm so stoked because this is my adopted hometown. I feel like I grew up here. You know, Marana and Oro Valley, the whole county to some degree, is the biggest small town I've ever experienced, ever. You feel like you know everybody. A buddy of mine who I'm involved with the sports stuff, he said, hey, Clint, just know when I first moved here, everybody knows everybody and everybody's related to everybody. So whatever you do, it's going to be multiplied numerous times. Hey, David, thank you, buddy. Hey, to all of our listeners, thank you so much. Make sure pathforward.com, get involved. Reach out to these guys if you need them. Fire. Milini, thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Hey, thank you guys for listening. Hey, and like I always say, you know what? It's just not that hard to be nice to each other if you try. Be nice to each other.